Cristiano Ronaldo's potential move to Manchester City, PSG's bid for Dani Olmo on a free transfer, 4 Manchester United players being sold as Amorim starts a squad overhaul, and Liverpool targeting a top defender. These are just some of the big stories in today's episode. If this video reaches 500 likes, it will inspire us to keep producing more content. So sit back, relax, and let's dive in. Cristiano Ronaldo, remember him? The guy who dominated at every club he played for. Sporting, Manchester United, Real Madrid, and Juventus. A true champion everywhere he went. But things haven't exactly gone as planned for him in Saudi Arabia with Al Nassr. Sure, they won the Arab Club Champions Cup, but let's be honest, that's pretty much just a summer tournament. Nothing too serious. And it seems like this is starting to get to Cristiano. After all, he's a winner. Last season, Al Hilal ran the show. Now, Al Ittihad is on top, with Al Hilal trailing just 2 points behind. And where's Al Nassr? In 4th place, 11 points off the lead. It's safe to say the title is nowhere in sight. Now here's the kicker. An insider source from Marca says Cristiano isn't thinking about retirement just yet, but if he doesn't win a trophy with Al Nassr soon, he'll be looking for a new challenge. Where could that challenge take him? Here's the intriguing part. I'd bet on a return to Sporting. Imagine that, Cristiano's legendary homecoming to Lisbon. The fans would adore him, and realistically, his chances of winning a title there are pretty high. But wait, there's more. According to the Daily Express, Cristiano doesn't believe in Al Nassr's chances of winning the championship anymore, and is ready to make a move this winter. And where's he looking? Manchester City. Can you even imagine that? Think about it. First, a chance to stick it to Manchester United. Something that feels almost destined. Second, Cristiano would bring in loads of money through merchandise, sponsorships, and advertising. And third, Erling Haaland could use some backup, right? Their playing styles are similar, except Haaland is a relentless presser. Guardiola wouldn't expect Ronaldo to press non-stop, but he'd find a way to make it work. And with the ball, Cristiano is still deadly. A return to the Premier League would be his chance to prove that he's still got it. The idea would be simple. Haaland tires out the defenders, and then Ronaldo comes on fresh to make the difference with his class. The key, of course, would be Cristiano accepting a super sub role, and naturally, the financial aspect. But with Manchester City's money, that wouldn't be a problem. Honestly, I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around this myself. Ronaldo at City? It sounds crazy. Remember when he almost joined them before, only to end up at Manchester United? At the time, United didn't really need him, but signed him to block City from getting him. And in the end, it didn't really work out for either Cristiano or United. As for revenge, I don't think Ronaldo is interested in that. He's above that now. And honestly, I doubt Manchester United fans would be too upset if he moved to City, especially considering how they treated him last time. Ten Hag basically pushed him out, and we all saw the aftermath with that infamous Piers Morgan interview. At the end of the day, seeing Ronaldo at a top club again would be a huge moment for fans. City doesn't exactly need the extra attention, but it wouldn't hurt. Plus, imagine having Ronaldo in the history books of Manchester City, even if only briefly. Who knows? Maybe it could turn into something more, but for now, it's a fascinating prospect. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your opinion. It looks like Ruben Amorim is ready to carry out a complete overhaul at the club. It's as if Manchester United's dressing room is getting a deep clean. Not just a quick tidy-up, but a full-on elimination of dead weight. And who's on the chopping block? Well, let's dive into it. Marcus Rashford, Antony, and Christian Eriksen. These 3 players, who collectively rake in £650,000 per week, might need to start packing their bags. Amorim doesn't seem impressed with their performances, and honestly, it's hard to argue with him. Rashford hasn't been the player we've come to expect lately. You can see it for yourself. Antony? Well, that's a different story. A huge letdown for a player who cost an arm and a leg. And Eriksen, despite being a seasoned professional, seems to have passed his prime. Now here's the interesting part. Amorim is ready to either loan them out or sell them all together. He wants them gone. It's clear the new manager is determined to make some tough decisions, and Sir Jim Ratcliffe is backing him on this. With United struggling in the table, only 7 points clear of the relegation zone, there's no time for sentimentality. The club spent big in the summer, but things have gone downhill fast. In order to avoid breaching financial fair play rules, they need to offload players, and these 3 have been selected. Rashford, in particular, has already expressed his desire to leave, claiming he's looking for a new challenge. Well, if that's the case, no one's going to stop him. The only issue is finding a buyer willing to cover his substantial wages. Don't forget, he tried to leave before, only to come back after securing a fat contract. It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. As for Antony and Eriksen, things get trickier. It's hard to see anyone paying a premium for them given their current form. United will likely try to offload them by February 3rd, and if that doesn't work, one or both may be sent out on loan. It's unlikely all 3 will be sold, as the squad can't afford to be left too thin. Honestly, though, I wouldn't be too bothered if all 3 left. They just haven't been performing to the level United needs, no matter how you spin it. What are your thoughts? Who would you keep, and who should go? Do you think Amorim's tough approach to squad management is fair, or is he going too far? One thing's for sure, the transfer window is open, and this winter in Manchester is about to get very interesting. It looks like Casemiro is preparing to close his brief chapter at Old Trafford and set his sights on a new adventure in the Middle East. Hard to believe, right? Just a year ago, fans were excited to see him bring his rock-solid defensive skills to Manchester United, much like he did at Real Madrid. But instead, he's now spending more time on the bench than in the starting lineup. What a turn of events. According to Brazilian media, Casemiro could be ready to leave as early as January, with several top Saudi clubs eager to sign him. Al Nassr, Al Hilal, Al Ittihad. These clubs are already lining up to secure the Brazilian signature. But there's a catch. These clubs have already filled their foreign player quota, so someone will have to make way for him. Could a player really be willing to step aside to make room for Casemiro? It's not out of the question, especially when big money transfers are involved. Here's the ironic part. It's not that Casemiro has failed at United, but rather that he's simply not a fit under the new manager, Ruben Amorim. Brought in to help steady the ship, Amorim doesn't seem to see the Brazilian as part of his long-term plans. Over the past few months, Casemiro has been racking up yellow cards, getting limited minutes, and facing frustration from the fans. It's hard not to think back to the glory days at Real Madrid, where Casemiro was a reliable and nearly untouchable figure in the midfield. What happened to that dominant presence? Rumors from behind the scenes in Manchester suggest the club is looking to trim its wage bill, which could explain why the departure of the 32-year-old defensive midfielder is becoming more and more likely. At the same time, the Saudi Pro League is making no secret of its desire to sign big names and turn regular matches into spectacles. So is this move the right fit for Casemiro? Or could he end up following the path of players who lost their competitive edge while chasing lucrative contracts? Some say Casemiro has already made up his mind to head to the Middle East, while others suggest that United's management is still trying to resolve the situation. Do United fans want to say goodbye to one of the most decorated midfielders in football? And does Casemiro feel ready to leave his legacy behind and move on? We'll find out soon enough. For now, all we can do is speculate. Will January be the turning point, or just a brief pause before a new chapter? What do you think? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. It looks like Arsenal is keeping a close eye on Wolves striker Matheus Cunha. Can you believe it? And honestly, it makes perfect sense. The guy's on fire right now, really carrying Wolves on his back. It's clear that the Premier League suits him, and you can tell he's ready for a bigger challenge at a more ambitious club. But there's a catch. Wolves are currently in a relegation battle, and losing a player like Cunha in such a crucial situation would be a massive blow for them. You can bet they'll do everything they can to hold on to him. Arsenal, meanwhile, are facing a real dilemma with Bukayo Saka sidelined for what could be a couple of months due to injury. This leaves Mikel Arteta with a real challenge in finding someone to fill the gap, contribute creatively, and score goals. Enter Matheus Cunha. It's no surprise that Arsenal is reportedly interested in him, and the need for a boost in attack makes this move seem even more necessary. Historically, Arsenal isn't the most active team in the January transfer window, but losing Saka for an extended period has forced their hand. A quick fix is needed, and while no one signing can replace Saka exactly, they need someone who can fill the void on the wing, score goals, and create chances. Cunha fits that bill perfectly. However, convincing Wolves to part with him mid-season while they're fighting to stay up is a tough task. Cunha is one of their key players, capable of playing as a winger, attacking midfielder, or even as a center forward. According to a report from Fichajes, Arsenal has already made an inquiry and is reportedly prepared to offer a whopping 80 million euros. That's a serious statement, especially considering Cunha's strong season and the attention he's getting from top European clubs. It's only logical that, as an ambitious player, Cunha would want to compete at the highest level, like the Champions League. Arsenal, with their upward trajectory, could offer that platform. What's interesting is that Arsenal had been monitoring Cunha even before his standout performances for Wolves, so their interest isn't just a reaction to his recent form. That said, there haven't been any formal talks between the clubs yet, and Wolves seem determined to keep him until at least the summer. But with Saka's absence, it wouldn't be surprising to see Arsenal push for a deal sooner. Let's not forget that Gabriel Martinelli and Raheem Sterling have both been inconsistent this season. Strengthening the attacking options with a versatile player like Cunha makes perfect sense. He can play across the front line, giving Arteta more options in attack. Will Arsenal be able to pull off this tricky deal? Will Cunha make the jump from Wolves to the Gunners? Time will tell. Chelsea is once again at the center of transfer rumors, with talk of a major winter clearout. Because, as if the last transfer window wasn't chaotic enough, here we go again. The club's management, led by Enzo Maressa, remains optimistic about their youth-focused approach, but not everyone is convinced. Some fans are already questioning whether the squad is overloaded with players who either end up on loan or spend most of their time on the bench. Despite this, The club's owners are steadfast in their belief that they're on the right track. To make room for more signings, though, they'll need to offload several players. There's no other way to free up the cash for fresh faces they're eyeing in January. First up, it looks like Ben Chilwell could be on his way out. Remember when he was considered the hero of Chelsea's left flank? Now, he's more of a cup match specialist and not always a starter. Chelsea has been looking to sell him for a while, but the right offer never came last summer. Over the past few months, Chilwell's agent has been exploring his options, and while he's still a solid player, he no longer fits into Maresca's tactical plans. When a club is undergoing a major overhaul, even trusted veterans have to make way. Then there's Cesare Casadei. The young Italian midfielder with his impressive technical skills could be heading back to Italy. Italian giants have been keeping tabs on him, but it seems he hasn't done enough to convince the coach he deserves a regular spot in the starting 11. Carney Chukwuemeka's situation is even more complicated. He was hyped as a big talent, with even Barcelona reportedly interested. But here he is, stuck in Chelsea's reserves with no Premier League appearances to his name. The club is hoping to cash in on him, with rumors suggesting a price tag of 50 million euros. But finding a buyer willing to pay that much is no easy task. Will he end up as just another player with potential who never quite reaches it? And here's the kicker. Chelsea is reportedly eyeing PSG's Randal Kolo Muani. The forward has struggled for minutes under Luis Enrique and could be on his way out of Paris. But here's the big question. Why does Chelsea need another striker? Their squad is already overflowing with wingers and forwards. Ansu Fati, João Felix, and even young Mark Guehi all come with big salaries and hype, but have failed to consistently deliver. Is Kolo Muani really worth the gamble? If he doesn't find his place quickly, he could easily get lost in the same crowded forward line. On the defensive front, however, the club's interest in strengthening the backline seems more sensible. Reports suggest Chelsea is targeting Bournemouth's Dean Huijsen and Ilya Zabarnyi for the summer. Both have Premier League experience and potential, but breaking into Chelsea's already crowded defense won't be easy. Competition for spots in big clubs is cutthroat, and these two will have to fight hard for their place. There's a thought lurking in the background. Maybe Chelsea's management understands that success begins with a strong defensive foundation. We've seen it before with European giants. Teams stockpiling attackers only to struggle with fitting them all in. Perhaps it's time for Chelsea to prioritize a solid defense and build from there. But the big question remains. Will this new generation of young talent be enough to break Chelsea's recent slump and restore the club to its former glory? Or will it be another round of transfers, more personnel changes, and no tangible progress? Chelsea continues to stockpile young players, but the real challenge is figuring out who among them will step up and become a match winner, and who will fade into obscurity. What do you think? Should Chelsea keep rebuilding and see where it leads? Or has the constant cycle of changes left them stuck in a loop, unable to build anything lasting? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Rumor has it that Liverpool is keen on strengthening their defense. And guess who's at the top of their list? Crystal Palace's Mark Guehi. Yes, the same Guéhi who nearly led England to glory in the Euro final. Here's the twist. Liverpool, currently in excellent form in both the Premier League and Champions League, aren't resting on their success. The Reds are determined to finish the season strong, and for that, they want a fresh centre-back to reinforce their defense. Guéhi, for his part, isn't just any player. He's made a significant impact at Crystal Palace since his move from Chelsea for a relatively modest £18 million. In just over 2 seasons, he's become a central figure in their defense, already playing 22 matches this season, scoring 2 goals and providing an assist. Not bad for a defender, right? Now, why would Liverpool need another centre-back, you ask? They already have Van Dijk, Konate, and Gomez. But things are complicated. Van Dijk's contract is nearing its end, and there's uncertainty over whether it'll be extended. Konate has recently suffered a knee injury, and Liverpool's defense showed cracks in his absence. That's where Guéhi comes in. Not just as a reinforcement, but as part of a long-term strategy for the future. But the real drama is just beginning. Newcastle has already made 3 attempts to bring Guéhi to St. James Park, offering £60 million plus bonuses. But Palace has stood firm. Now Chelsea is throwing their hat into the ring. Yes, the same Chelsea that let Guéhi go a while back is now interested in bringing him back to Stamford Bridge. Chelsea has a strong advantage here. They have a buyback clause in Guéhi's contract. Plus, they're entitled to 20% of any future transfer fee. Furthermore, Guéhi reportedly wouldn't mind returning to his roots at Chelsea, having come through their Cobham Academy. So, what's next? Will we see a January transfer bombshell, or will this saga drag on until the summer? Will Liverpool's persistence and financial power win out, or will Chelsea pull off a smart move to re-sign the defender they once let go? And let's not forget about Newcastle, who could make another push with an even more tempting offer. What do you think? Will Guéhi be wearing Liverpool red, or will Chelsea swoop in for a reunion? Share your predictions in the comments. Personally, I think Liverpool might clinch this one. They're persistent and have the funds to make it happen. But as always in football, anything can change in an instant. One thing's for sure, though. This is going to be one exciting transfer battle. Let's see who comes out on top. Remember when Laporta assured us that registering Dani Olmo would be a breeze? He practically guaranteed that the higher court would rule in their favor and that La Liga would fold. Well, that didn't exactly play out as promised. The court decision went the other way, and La Liga was more than happy to play along with it. Now, poor Olmo is stuck, unable to be registered, and it raises a very valid question. Why did he get tangled up in this mess in the first place? Sure, Laporta is a master of words, but his actual guarantees? Not so much. Here's where it gets interesting. PSG is reportedly eyeing Olmo. Now, Paris may not have the same allure as Camp Nou, but at least it's a place to play, right? Plus, Luis Enrique knows Olmo well from their time with the Spanish national team, which could make PSG a viable option for him. In this case, it might not be the worst move for Dani after all. But then again, knowing Barca's knack for pulling off financial miracles, I wouldn't be shocked if Laporta somehow pulls a rabbit out of a hat and manages to register Olmo. However, don't hold your breath. At this point, the guarantee is non-existent. In the meantime, Barca is reportedly negotiating a deal with a Qatari fund to sell the rights to the VIP boxes at Spotify Camp Nou for the next 20 years, in exchange for 100 million euros. They've reached an agreement, but La Liga, true to form, is rejecting it. They're saying the paperwork isn't right and the guarantees aren't sufficient. Classic La Liga. There's also talk of a gentleman's agreement between Barca and PSG that the Parisians won't poach players from the Catalan club. But let's be real, such agreements rarely hold water in football. If Olmo remains unregistered and could leave for free, that agreement could easily crumble. Word is that Olmo's agent is already shopping around for potential suitors, even though Dani's heart is still with Barca, his childhood club. In short, the whole situation is a mess. Everyone is waiting for January 3rd when Barca has promised to shed some light on the matter. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we're met with more empty promises when the day comes. So, what do you think? What's next for Olmo? And can Laporta dig his way out of this predicament?